Good evening.
Good evening. Oh my goodness, you're not still in the office, are you?
No, I came back. Came back to do this.
Or have you been banished?
No, I can't have kids screaming in the background. Daddy, daddy, daddy.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, no, it's me. I get out of bedtime. There's no apology necessary.
Very important work to do, darling. Must go.
Yes, oh, so terribly sorry. Yes, a very important meeting.
I hope you didn't blame me for this one.
No, I chose. She was fully aware that I chose the time.
Excellent. Wow. I haven't looked this evening. I mean, frankly, since Sarah dropped out, I've lost all interest.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But how's it going?
We've still got seven guys going.
Heaven. I mean, they've got to be breaking some records now, haven't they?
Yeah,
And for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, we are talking about Big's Backyard Ultra and the more World Championships. I mean, they're just World Championships after World Championships at the moment, aren't they?
yeah, yeah. So yeah, there's seven guys on lap 103. Oh
What's
no,
the
just yeah, 103.
what's the
What?
record?
119.
119
So tomorrow we could see a
tomorrow.
new men's world record, and
How are
that's
they
Phil
looking?
Gore.
Are they?
Uh,
Do you think they're
Quite a
looking?
few of them looking pretty good. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, quite unfathomably good. So
I did
yeah,
see Sarah come in on her last one, and I mean, my initial thought was that doesn't look good. Uh,
yeah,
and then I saw that, yeah, she dropped out. So,
yeah. I was saying to Jen that she must feel better about the reason that she dropped, as opposed to it's better that to me it seems better that your body breaks and you have the decision taken away from you rather than the race
yes,
broke you mentally.
yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that is definitely the case. But I mean, holy shit, just,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, just massive, massive, or inspirational, just
yeah,
everything,
it's
everything.
it's one of the greatest running achievements of all time
I
to date,
mean,
isn't it?
yeah, I mean, the second British woman to surprise Laz, hopefully. Um,
Exactly.
and we're about to welcome Sarah um, when she's unmuted herself. Hello, Sarah. Welcome.
Hello. Have I managed to unmute myself?
You
You
have.
have.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, congratulations. And I'm going to let Robin take the lead here because he is our resident 24-hour expert.
Excellent.
I kind of wanted to start by just clapping, like, hooray!
Yes.
It was so
Awesome.
amazing. I absolutely loved. I was glued to the splits and everything, and as many Instagram reels and videos and stories as I could find. Congratulations! Yeah, what an incredible thing to
Yeah.
witness. And I suppose before we break down the race and indeed your running career building up to that, what did it feel like uh, to to achieve that? I want to start with that. What did it feel like to run 278 kilometers and break the world record?
I'm not quite sure it's sunk in yet. I kind of keep repeating it and going, no, 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 it was just a few miles. I just ran. So yeah, I don't think it's quite sunk in yet. It's crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, you broke the record by eight kilometers, 8.3, and indeed, if you hadn't, then two other women would have done it also.
They did very well.
Yeah. Was there much of awareness on the track of the other women and where they sat in the leaderboard? Is there a visible leaderboard at the World Championships?
It wasn't a leaderboard, but it was a big screen, and so you could see. And I eventually worked out that I was in second place because part of the leaderboard was in French as well, which I don't speak. So, and the announcements were all in French, so I was just able to switch off from those. So that was good. But yeah, eventually I worked out on the screen that I was in second. And that was fine. There was still plenty of time to go at that point. So I was like, I'm not worried about this. This is fine. And then when I did go in the lead, it was like, right now, this is my late race to lose. I've just got to keep going. So yeah, that's what I did. And then I couldn't afford to stop once I'd got the world record because they were going to catch me again. So it was like, no, you really have to keep going.
Yeah, they absolutely would have done as well. Yeah, Holly Ranson ran 274 kilometers, and then Miho, the former world record holder, ran nearly 272. So yeah, they would have smelt blood definitely if you'd been hobbling around well, it's not a track, is it? How big is the course at the World Championships?
So it was a 1,500 meter loop. About 380 meters of it was on track, possibly even slightly more. And then the rest was kind of round the stadium, round a, it was a football pitch or a hockey pitch or what it was, but round that and then round back the other side of the stadium. So yeah, it was better than running just round a track. I mean, we couldn't have done that with the amount of competitors. So yeah, it was good fun.
It's about 400 people, isn't it?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Can I ask them does it count as track or road or something?
It's a road one. The world records don't distinguish between road and track anyway. They just note it down if it's track. The British record, interestingly enough, distinguishes between road and track. So I didn't. I only held the British track record, not the overall record, before coming into this race. So yeah, that was the first aim was to get the British record and then go from there.
There's damn old formalities, but I suppose there is. Do you think there's a difference between running on the track and running the slightly road loop?
I think the track for ultras is much harder. I found this race much better. The track is, it's nice, it's soft, but there's no change in muscle whatsoever, apart from going over a timing mat. Whereas on the road, there were little humps, I wouldn't say there were hills, but it just gave you that change in muscle. The only worry was there were a couple of humps that were a bit scary. And at one point, I was so dizzy and so tired that I was going to fall. And if I fall, my race is over. So I can't go any faster. I'm going to have to stay at this pace because there's too much risk. If I fell, my race might have been over, and yeah, that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, can completely understand that. You get to a point where, because I did my first and only 24-hour track race this year, which is why Kate has captained me for being the expert on it all. And I'd reached a point where I'd cramped a little earlier, and I didn't dare go any quicker for fear of that being race over. And from all the podcasts I've listened to and all the material I've read on 24-hour racing, it seems that actually getting a really good one is quite rare in the number that you run. How many 24-hour races have you run?
Just the two. First one was at Crawley, and then this was the second one. So, but I learned a lot from Crawley. And yeah, got injured at about 17 and a half hours and walked for 4 hours. So it was, and then I did get going again, but it was like, right, this time you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to have to run the whole way if you want to get anywhere near the top.
But you still broke the record there, didn't you?
Broke the British record there.
Yeah. By walking for 4 hours.
Yes.
That's crazy.
So you've done 100Ks before this, the 100K champs, and then actually the 50K champs as well. So was this the first real step up to the 24 hour? So this was the first step up to the 24-hour world champs. What were your expectations for it going in?
Well, on paper, I was probably only about 10th. So it was kind of nice that there wasn't really, I didn't feel too much pressure on me. Probably none of the other athletes really knew who I was because I'm not really a 24-hour runner. So it was kind of nice to just come in quietly and go under the radar and run my race, which definitely suits me better than trying to run somebody else's race. So yeah, it was nice from that point of view.
Under the radar until you hear about maybe the last 4 or 5 hours, and then suddenly everyone's like, oh, hang on a minute.
Hang on, who's this?
Our data's not that good anymore. Who the heck is this? Yeah.
Yes.
What was it like? We'll go backwards now, and then I think, and then come back towards the race. So, how did you get into running, and how long have you been running for?
So I ran as a child until sort of just club running, track, bit of cross country when I had to do it, and really ran until my final year at uni when I gave it all up to concentrate on my degree. Didn't really make that transition from junior to senior well enough, mainly because I didn't put the work in. So I gave it all up, concentrated on my job. And then when my daughter was 4, I had a bit more time on my hands. And my husband said, "Oh, I think you should go back running." And I'm like, "Really? Do you really know what you're letting yourself in for?" Because he hadn't met me when I was running. So he was like, "Yeah, yeah, no, it's fine. I'll support you." So yeah, I think he was a bit horrified by then how much work I've had to do. And yeah, how they've managed. They've been very good with putting up with me. But yeah, and then I did a half marathon the first year I went back, and sort of that was fun. But then I decided, oh, let's go back and do some track work and enjoy that. So I represented the Isle of Man in the Island Games on the track at 1500 and 5000. And then I decided actually hitting 1500-meter splits was too hard anymore. So it was time to go back up to road. So I sort of made my way up to marathons in 2017. And by that point, I realised doing extra mileage was not scaring me in the slightest. Marathons were so much easier in some ways than half marathons and 10Ks. So did those for a few years, and then somebody sent a message, like a group message, this marathon group, saying, "Oh, if you're looking for a GB vest, you only have to get the marathon standard for the 50K." And I had that standard, so I was like, "Wow, a GB vest, that would be like completely beyond any expectations." I didn't get it then. There were better runners ahead of me, but it just showed me that running an extra 8K really didn't bother me in the slightest. That was not scary. So the sort of plan was to do a 50K, but then COVID hit, and I was also trying to qualify for the Commonwealth Games marathon to represent the Isle of Man. So I ended up doing that first, and then I realised that I could potentially get an England vest on my marathon time for the 100K. So I applied and got the England place for the 100K. So yeah, I went and ran 100K first, which was fun.
That's amazing. Can I just ask, I mean, when you say I decided to go back to running, like when your daughter was 4, I mean, that's not like most mums decide to go back to running when their daughters are 4. It's not like I did. I just started jogging. This is it sounds like you went back to running with a clear plan to be competitive.
I suppose I've always seen running as competitive, because that's how I grew up. I mean, I started back just by I would take her to school on the bus, and then I ran home, which was 3.6 miles, and then I ran back in the evening to pick her up and came home on the bus with her. And then after a few weeks, she was confident enough to do it on her own. So I then still took the bus, but only as far as the nearest town. And so then I had a bit more scope to run for a bit longer. And so just gradually built it up from there. And then when I was doing the track stuff, I managed to find a coach, Dave Leach, who's an endurance coach, and he's based at Lewis Athletics Club, which is where my parents live, and my dad was heavily involved in the club. So he's coached me now for the last 11 years. And it's been really, really good. He did say at one point he wouldn't coach me beyond the marathon, but he did recant that statement. And it's been a fantastic arrangement. He's been an amazing coach.
It works.
Yes.
It's funny how an athlete can stretch a coach as well, because I'm pretty sure my coach had never coached anybody for an ultra marathon or anything before, and now I'm just sort of like forcing, because they're very strictly road 5K, 10K people, like it sounds like this guy was, and now suddenly he's got all this credibility that you've dragged him to. Is he having to do it for other people now, or is it just you
Yeah,
specially?
there are definitely a few in the group that are doing ultras, and I must admit, Robbie Britton has been a fantastic mentor to both myself and Dave, coach. So that's been really good. He's been a massive help in the background, and support. Which, yeah, can't thank him enough for doing that as well.
I've heard that he's super supportive. Does he give tips on the training, on like the types of sessions you should be doing in the build up to it, or is it a different type of mentoring?
Yeah, tips on sessions, tips on sort of how long to run. I mean, my sort of training for marathon was sort of all tended to be distance based. And then we went up to 100K, and suddenly Dave had this plan. I was doing 90 minutes every day, and I was like, whoa, where did that come from? So he must have talked to Robbie about that, and that's fine. It worked. Not a problem, but it's, and then we've adapted it from there. Dave and I have both learned what I'm capable of. I will always probably do more than is on the plan, but I know if it's too much, and I will back off if I'm tired, and it's good, and the warning signs are there. So yeah, it's a very good relationship.
Sounds great. So what's your marathon PB? I've got power of 10 open here, but you never know. Like, he messes things out every now and again.
It's just under 240, 239.56. I just scraped into the the
Oh,
240.
nice. Where was that?
That was Seville in 2023, because I ended up doing Seville, and then 6 weeks later did the Anglo-Celtic Plate, and then 7 weeks after that I did a 50K to try and qualify for the GB 50K race. So yeah, that was 3 very big races in a very short space of time, and don't wish to do that one again.
Did you need to dip under 240, or was that just a hope? 239.56?
Yeah, that was a really, I want to do that. That was, and I didn't think I'd got it, because on gun time it was over 240, and so I was absolutely gutted. And then I looked at the chip time and worked out I had just done it. So it's always something nice about breaking a round number.
Or is it looks great? Because now you could even be as simple as say I'm a 2:30 something marathon runner.
Yes, just
you don't have to say just. They don't need to know. So what's the step up like from 50K to 100K? What did that feel like?
Well, because I did the 100K first, the 50K just felt nice and short. It was like, oh, this is nearly finished. This is amazing. I don't have to get tired. So yeah, that was absolutely fine. And in fact, in a way, 50K is sort of a nice distance, because you're not pushing yourself as hard as in a marathon, but it's not as long as 100K. It's kind of that nice fit in the middle, comfortable pace. So probably isn't now, but that's what it felt like at the time. So yeah, I quite like the 50K distance.
You've run 7:03 in the 100K twice.
Twice, yes.
Was that annoying the second time, or was it?
The second time it was frustrating, and I didn't enjoy it nearly so much as the first time. Because I'd broken the record the first time, but we couldn't ratify it because of the drug testing. I had to get it the second time, and so the pressure was on me that one. And just I didn't run as well as I wanted to run in that race. So I did get it, but I won't have very good memories about that race compared to the previous year, which had just been such fun. It was hard, but it was really fun. That race, yeah, it was good.
It was in Perth. I read. What was the weather like?
Perth was fine. There was a little bit of wind on each lap, but nothing. It wasn't raining. So no, the weather was okay. I just didn't run the race I wanted to run. It wasn't such a good day in the office.
But still averaged 4 minutes, like just under 4:14 per kilometre for the 100K.
Something like that.
Yeah. Which is just under like sub 3 hour marathon pace, but for 7 hours and 3 minutes.
Wow.
Just try and like translate it to people who might understand what it
means. In minute miles, please. No.
6:49 per mile, I think, something like that. Or it's roughly 21 minutes for a 5K. So
That's amazing. Is
if
that
you think-
why the 8-minute miles felt so slow to you when you were
yeah, it's like
kept
jogging.
strictly
It's
to that?
great.
That's
I don't need to
incredible.
breathe.
I've spoken to a couple people now because it really intrigues me. Just what sort of pace do you need to be able to run to get up to these magical 260 plus kilometer distances? And it looks like the criteria like matches quite a lot with running a sort of a 240 marathon. Do you think
Okay,
it's
interesting.
yeah, it's really interesting. I found that
Yeah.
a few people now, unless there are some anomalies out there who can just continue a pace without being able to run just that much faster. Have you found that your training blended well with being a quicker runner to keep that pace?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important in training to run faster than your um goal pace, especially for 24 hours. I actually do very little of my running um at 24-hour pace, unless I'm deliberately doing it slowly. And actually that was probably one of the secrets I had this time with training. I did a lot more double days this block. And I also dislocated my shoulder 6 weeks before the race, which meant I couldn't drive. Wasn't supposed to be running either, but I ignored it. But it meant I ran very slowly. And it also meant my mileage went from 100 miles a week to 130 miles a week, because I had to run to work and then run home. And then I was running to the gym or physio and back. So I wasn't particularly necessarily doing much more mileage. Okay, no, 30 miles, but it was the fact that I was having to do it slowly. The dog was running with me to work, and she doesn't do more than 10-minute milings. So it's then, yeah, it just forced me to slow down, which actually I think was probably of benefit. But yeah, mostly my sessions are probably my easy runs would be more like 7:30 per mile than 8-minute miling, unless I'm really tired and deliberately going slowly.
Maybe it sounds like we've stumbled onto the formula here to be a world record holder.
Yes.
So just
Not
have to
above.
dislocate your shoulder first. But
It's incredible, isn't it?
but going up to 130 miles a week from 100, that was that. I mean, I know you were running it a bit slower, but could you feel that in your legs, or did it feel more or less the same?
I don't think I could have kept it up for longer than I did that for about 4 weeks. And then I was glad I was starting taper. I know when I am overtraining, and yeah, it was the signs were just starting to appear, and it was like, right, it's time to back off now. Don't worry about, taper is more important now. That you've done the hard work. So I mean, it used to be I couldn't get above 90 miles a week without being in trouble. Now it's 100 miles would be normal for an ultra running block of training, and the 130 definitely I think was a benefit, but it was only for 4 weeks or so.
You must have to eat a lot.
I really battled to keep the weight on, and I definitely lost more weight this block, I think, because I was doing so much extra. But yes, you are hungry and you don't feel guilty if you're busy raiding the cupboard for something else to eat.
What does your nutrition look like? I mean, I know you use precision fuel and hydration, don't you?
Yes, from a gel point of view, and I tend to use either gels or chews in training. And then in terms of the race, apart from the gels and chews, I had Haribo sweets, mostly the jelly snake ones, and then drinks sort of alternated between chocolate, oat milk, ginger ale, Coca-Cola. Custard was another good one. Quite like custard. That was, yeah, because you can, if you put it in one of these baby flasks, you can just sort of swig it down without getting it all over yourself, which was worked quite well.
I get
So
the
yeah,
logic. I get the logic.
Custard's nice. It's yeah. That was definitely because the thing is, you get so sick of everything that's so sweet. So anything you can do to avoid taking on too much sweet stuff in the race is so much better. So the custard wasn't too sweet. Neither was ginger ale.
Anything sort of solid?
Tried. I had a couple of sandwiches in the first 2 hours. That was lunch. But then by the time I got to the tea time sandwiches, it was like, no, can't do more than that. I had about one bite, and then they did get me some mashed potato from the aid station, but they said the aid station assured them it was cheesy mashed potato. Well, I couldn't taste any cheese, and I don't like mashed potato without cheese, so I think I had about three mouthfuls, and that was it. So, but I'd not included that on the nutrition plan, so I didn't really worry that I hadn't taken it in from that point of view. It was trying to give me something else texture wise. And then I discovered, because last time I got the sugar, particularly in the drinks, really coating my mouth, and it was disgusting. So I ended up this time I was determined not for that to happen. So I used mouthwash about every 4 or 5 hours. And just swilled that out, and that definitely helped. Just sort of reset my mouth, not have to cope with so much sugar for. And then mouthwash, and then I sort of iced water for a lap. Yeah, it was definitely worth it.
So, as there's 6 of you in the team going around, and you've got your specific tent on the side of the track, it looked like it was on like the 100-meter straight sort of area.
Yes.
Is there have you brought crew with you? Are they providing crew? How many people is it per person?
The GB crew were amazing, and there were six of them. I think it was basically 2 athletes per person, but they divided us up into teams because there was obviously a chance that like the team manager might have to go off to sort something out, so somebody else would have to take over his athletes, and then the physio might have to suddenly treat somebody. So everybody sort of knew everybody's plans and everything. But I had Dr. Jamie Pugh and his wife Sarah Jane, and they were absolutely brilliant. Couldn't fault them. Obviously very, very experienced crew anyway. And I mean, the good thing was, because it was a 1,500-meter loop, if you did end up coming round with somebody else or missing something, then you could just get it next lap. It wasn't a disaster. It's not like a trail run where you've missed it and you've got another 10 miles before the next aid station. So it was fine. And I think having an experienced crew really makes a difference to your 24-hour running, massively.
And just how detailed is your nutrition plan for the race? Have you done it sort of every half hour, sort of per grams per carbs?
Yeah, it was roughly I had a list of what I needed in the hour, and I basically was getting something roughly every half an hour. But I think I needed more water than I'd originally put on the plan because it was quite hot. So I seemed to be asking quite often for extra water. That was fine. The crew were there for me to give that. So that worked really well. And I had a reset again about every 4 hours where Jamie was helping me with assisted squats just to kind of try and stretch out my legs. And it got more and more frequent as the last hour, it was probably every other lap. But anything just to keep me going, because all I wanted to do was sit down. So that was the equivalent of a sit down without actually sitting down.
At one point during my race, I said to my wife that I really want to sit down. So I know the feeling, but you just can't really, can you? You've got to keep going.
If you sit down, it's so hard to get going again. So it's much better to try and keep going.
Do you know what your sort of idle time was not running?
I haven't worked it out. Basically, the only time I stopped was sort of toilet breaks and these stops for squats and resets. So I would guess toilet breaks I probably had about 4 or 5. Mainly, again, they were a bit of an excuse to sit down, and then and obviously they're a bit longer because you have to kind of be in the toilet.
Yeah.
And then the squats were probably no more than 20 or 30 seconds, and extra breaks. So yeah, I'm sure somebody very clever has worked out exactly how long I was not moving for, but it's
Yeah, well, probably because that bumps up your average pace as well for like average movement time. So it sounds even cooler.
Yeah. Your average pace was 8:19, including all your stops.
Yeah.
That's what's mind-blowing.
I just spoke to Matt Field yesterday.
Oh, yes.
And he mentioned that you had a rough idea that you wanted to run 7:30 per lap.
Yeah.
And he said to you, do you realize that means you're going to break the British record? And you were just kind of like, oh, we'll see what happens, like sort of thing. Did you go in with the plan that you were capable of running to over 280 kilometers?
I didn't know. Everything had to come right on the day. I hoped I would get over 270. And yeah, I didn't know what would happen in terms of stops or having to walk. I was utterly determined I wouldn't walk. But yeah, there's determination, and there's been injured and not actually physically being able to run. So yeah, didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew I couldn't afford to go off too fast. That was the most important thing. And for a long time, the maths was quite steady. It was just a little bit faster than the 7:30 per lap, so that was fine. It was nothing too dramatic. And then I actually discovered there was a screen, so you could see your lap times. So I probably didn't look every lap, but again, it was just a quick glance up. Yeah, make sure nothing too crazy. Or, I mean, there was the odd lap I did deliberately fast because I knew I was going to have a toilet stop, or I had one, so I wanted to speed up a little bit to kind of make up the time. And that kind of broke the race up a little bit and gave my legs a bit of a boost. And, got them moving again. The important thing was then not to continue at that fast pace, was to make sure I then slowed down again and got back into the rhythm of the 8-minute miling.
And how are you measuring that? Are you looking at your watch to make sure that you hit the pace, or are you looking at the lap time?
Just the lap time, really. Because I turned off the GPX on my watch. I'd no idea what that was doing. It was saying I was running 8:30 pace, and I was like, well, okay, if I'm running 8:30, that's fine, but I'm not going to believe that until the end of the lap. And the laps were saying just under 7:30, so I'm like, right, we ignore the watch. The watch can do whatever it wants. I'm just going to concentrate on getting into this rhythm, running at this pace, and yeah, hopefully just keeping going for as long as I can.
There's so much there. Sorry, Kate. There's so much there. Just in that one moment where others would have flapped, like, oh, my watch isn't giving me the time that I want, because you can be so heavily reliant on it. Like, I need to know what the correct speed that I'm running at is. And when you're only finding out once, I know it's like 7.5 minutes, but I would probably flap a little bit because, or you've maybe only run half a lap and then you see on the board that you've gone to the loo, like, oh, how long was that lap? Oh, I'm not sure. I'll wait till I've gone all the way around again. Oh, the watch is still saying something else. Oh, like you seem a bit unflappable.
I learned that one because I had a 6-hour race a few months ago, and the GPX was all over the place, and I started panicking and running faster, and it was not a good thing to do. I cramped up after sort of about 3.5 hours, and it was like, right, okay, I mean, I already knew the watch would probably be wrong because we were running laps, and the watch doesn't like laps. I already knew that the battery would probably die at some point anyway. Ironically, it didn't, but the watch somehow turned itself off. It went into power saver mode and then turned it off, and it was just showing the normal time. I was like, I'll sod that then. I'll just carry on at this pace. So yeah, I'd stopped looking at my watch a very long time ago. In fact, I probably shouldn't even bothered running with it, but it was there on my wrists. So yeah. But yeah, I think that was one of the take-home messages I learned from another race, is like, stop, stressing about the watch. Find out your lap times another way, and trust I run a lot by RPE, so rate of perceived effort, feel. I don't tend to run to heart rate because I find the wrist watch is inaccurate anyway, so I just very much go on feel. And now having that experience to know that, yes, I feel good, but I have to be disciplined and not run faster than I should do. It pays off occasionally. If I'd run my first marathon strictly to the pace I was supposed to run, I wouldn't have got under well, I'd have only just been under 3 hours. If I'd run my first 100k at the pace I was supposed to be running at, I would have only just got under 7:30. So it does pay off to do it faster, but it's a lot more risky strategy. So yes, it's sort of having that bit of that discipline and that experience to know you're not pushing yourself too hard, but you're just pushing yourself enough that you can get through it.
You're nudging that boundary, aren't you?
Yes, constantly.
As a team, how much do you see your teammates? Are you able to support each other at all, or are you all in your own little bubbles, just sort of trying to get far as possible?
They were incredibly supportive, and I hope I was to them, because I was passing them on quite a few laps, so it was nice to sort of, how are you doing? Are you okay? I could see one of them was in pain from about half an hour in, and I was feeling for her already. It was like, this is not good. And they were absolutely ace. They did not give up at all, every single meter. One of them was saying, "Oh, we've just gone into the lead for the team race," and that was amazing, to know that we were in the lead for the team race, and that we potentially, as long as we kept going, would get that team gold as well. So yeah, I think the support on the course from the obviously British female athletes, but also the boys as well, because obviously we're not allowed to run with them. It's seen as pacing, so you have to be quite careful. But equally, you can support them when you're passing or they're passing you, and say, "Are you okay? How are you doing?" So it's everybody was so supportive, and I really felt we worked as a team.
That's interesting, isn't it? So you've actually got to be quite careful if you happen to be running at a similar pace.
Yeah, you've got to be very
You've got
careful.
to drop behind them or something, haven't you?
Yeah, because my biggest worry was more in the 100k, because I'd worked out that I didn't think any of the girls would go off at the pace I wanted to, and I was like, well, that's fine. I'll go off with the men. And then Robbie was like, "No, you're not allowed to do that." I was like, "Oh." Anyway, fortunately, the men all went off really fast, so that solved my problem. But yes, I've had it in 24-hour races that I had to say to somebody, "You have to go on. I can't. I can't run at the pace you're running at, but B, we will get disqualified if you continue pacing me. So you have to go on." But you can pace other female athletes. So Kelsey actually paced me for a few laps, which was lovely of her. Gave me a real boost running round before. Well, she went off first, and then she settled back into her natural pace, and then I overtook her again. But it was they were such an amazing team.
Oh, lovely.
That pacing rule seems incredibly hard to marshal. Like they must be watching that like a hawk every lap. Is there
Yeah, I mean, I suspect unless it's blatantly obvious, they're quite lenient, if you see what I mean. And I did see, male and female team members, I can't remember which country it was, running together for the last hour or so. It really didn't matter by then. It's the deliberate tactics. It's and someone's making it obvious that they are deliberately helping, that they will enforce the rule, or at least give us a yellow card warning that it's not acceptable. So, and that's the rules. You run within the rules.
As the whole team gold was that talked about before? Was there any expectation for that?
I think we had a strong team on paper, but so were the other teams. The Americans had a very strong team. Obviously, the Australians and the Japanese were also incredibly strong. So, and I suspect a couple of the other teams were knocking on the door if their athletes were able to perform to the top level. So I think anyone can have a bad day on the day as well, and that obviously can affect the team score. But yeah, I think the hope was we made the podium. Gold was just the icing on the cake, and they were incredible.
I mean, it's really nice that the format allows 6 entries and
Yes.
3 scorers. That feels quite kind and fair for just how volatile this specific format is. So I'm glad that they do that. Does that sort of ease the mind of you as you're going into it?
It was lovely that we had 6 runners. When I've done the 50K, there were only 4 of us. Same with the 100K. So it puts a lot more pressure on you as a team, because it only needs one person to have or even 2 people to have a bad day, and suddenly your scores have gone. So having 6 was really, really great, and knowing that there were people who may not perform as well as they wanted, but they were there for the team, and their grit and determination in not giving up was absolutely mind blowing.
Does that help, do you think, having that team mentality and that sort of motivation that you're running for each other?
Yeah, very, very much so. I mean, obviously, I haven't been on a 24-hour team before, but the others were saying how much of a family they found it was, and and with the crew as well. It was just brilliant. We all seemed to gel well, and we're there for each other.
So when did you get out to Albi, and sort of when did you arrive at the track, and how did you feel before you started?
Most of us got there on Thursday, and then we had the opening ceremony in the town centre on Friday, which was lovely. That was really nice. And then we got to the track, I guess about 8:30 on Saturday morning, with the race starting at 10.
For the opening ceremony, was that like sort of carry a flag for your country announced to
Yeah,
the?
we had to I think it was Ben that carried the flag through the streets of Albi for us, and then he had to go up and present it on the stage and put it in the pole. And then they did a few speeches, and then they had some French dancing, which was amazing.
Oh, nice. So proper built up the atmosphere. That's really
Yeah,
nice that they do that.
yeah, it
Make
was
a
fun.
really big deal out of the occasion. They've done it there a few times, I think, haven't they? It's quite a
Yes.
popular destination for it.
Yeah, 2019. They did the world champs there, and they frequently hold 24-hour racing at that track.
So sort of, I mean, I'm just looking through your splits for the race now, and they're so unbelievably consistent. Was there at any point where you felt like the race was slipping away from you at all, or did you feel confident throughout?
The first 4 hours was quite hard. Um, it was like, how can I run this slowly and be this knackered? How have I got 20 hours to go? And I'm knackered already. And is there any chance of stopping now? Um, and then I kind of got more into the rhythm, and then the hours just kind of slip away, if you see what I mean. It's always the same with any race or even training run. The first bit's always the hardest, and once you get past that, you actually get into the rhythm, and then you're fine, and the rest of the run just slips away. And then the last sort of 3 or 4 hours was hard, and then the last hour after I had the record, but knowing that I couldn't stop was very hard.
What do you do? So, one of the things I struggled with most, I had a really difficult sort of hour, or sort of hour 14 to hour 19. I had been told to prepare myself for the questions that your brain, not the temptations that your brain will try and convince you that you've done well enough and you can stop. There's no shame in stopping because you've done such an incredible job. Like, how do you prepare mentally for your brain to tell you it's awful and you need to stop?
um I think, yeah, I mean, I was absolutely determined this is a 24-hour race. This is not a 14-hour race. So therefore, you're not stopping at 14 hours or whenever it was. So I think that was that determination. And then yeah, it was having the distraction, I think, and whether it was just like, oh, I've got over the halfway point, I've got over the 100-mile point, have distraction of the music, have other competitors around you, anything just to distract you from the pain and that little voice telling you to stop. It was the toilet situation was interesting. So I think that distracted me for a few laps because if I wanted a toilet stop, I was kind of eyeing up the toilet to see if it was free. So if it wasn't free, it meant I had to run another lap. And then it was like, we don't need it anyway, so you might as well just carry on. And then it was like, yeah, you do actually need it. Okay, so you have to wait until it's free now. And then it was kind of see that the door was open, dash in, get the toilet, and then out again. So
That actually sounds remarkably complicated. Because, yeah, how many were there? And did you have like, were there like dirty ones and clean ones? And you're like, no, that one's my favorite. I know that one's clean.
well, the problem is French toilets are still hole in the ground type ones, and when you can't squat because you're knackered,
Yeah.
hole in the ground is not an option. So I only actually found one normal toilet. So yeah, and it was supposed to be for women only, but I reckon there were a few men using it at some point. And to be fair to the staff, they cleaned them regularly. That wasn't it wasn't dirty. And it but yeah, it was just that sort of, oh well, that was the only one I found anyway. So it was like that's yeah. So it was like, oh, the toilet's free. Do I need it? No, you're fine for a few more laps. And then yeah. So I'm sure that was a mental distraction.
I can't go back.
No, I'm definitely not going back.
You talked about music as a distraction. There was some good sort of pumping music as people were going around. Did you listen to your own as well?
So I'd planned to listen to music from about 10 hours in. My headphones only lasted about 5 hours. And then I think they charged them up for about another hour. And then I had another couple of hours out of them. But yeah, the music on the back straight was awesome. So I couldn't, because it was so loud, I couldn't actually hear my music when I went past them. So, which was fine. But yeah, I have some music that sort of inspires me. And it was important not to put my headphones in too early because otherwise I would have run too fast too early. So it had to be a case of wait until the 10 hours and then hopefully that will get you through some of the night. Just distracting you from the pain.
What do you listen to?
A bit of a mixture. I'm a bit of an ABBA fan, and then
Yes.
generally it's the musicals. So Sound of Music, Mary Poppins, The Lion King, Oliver. What else did I do? Matilda. Yeah, and then a bit of Mozart, Marriage of Figaro, because that's quite bouncy. And then I had the Cornish sea shanties. They're quite good. So yeah, it was just anything. And then there were a few songs that kind of have good memories for me. So they were in there, like and things like Chariots of Fire and the theme tune of London Marathon, and all that sort of really feel good running music that you need in the playlist.
Wow. I mean, that's like hours and hours there.
Yeah, well, I was a bit disappointed the batteries didn't last long enough, and somebody said, "Well, most runners don't run for over 5 hours, so what do you expect?"
I think I need access to that playlist.
Yeah, Jamie Pugh said because he was quoting for me. He said, "Your playlist rocks."
Yeah. You need to put it on Spotify, make it public. It'd be like the world record-breaking 24-hour champs playlist.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, we love musicals in my house, so that is literally right up my street. So yeah, I will be nagging you for that for sure.
Well, Mary Poppins' "Let's Go Fly a Kite" is definitely one to only do when you need a nice sprint thing, because that really gets you going.
Sort of bounding along.
Yeah, definitely.
I can feel it now. I'm definitely adding that one in. So you that's interesting that you only let yourself have music 10 hours in. I suppose you've got such a good natural rhythm and a measure of your RPE, as you mentioned, that you can trust yourself to keep yourself going up to that point. Is it so in the race when you hit sort of 10 hours? Did did you feel like you needed the music then, or was it just like my
It
plan
was kind
says?
of that was on the plan, and I was sort of looking forward to it. I was getting to sort of the 8 hours, going only another 2 hours to go, and then I could put the music on. This is good. This is good. Keep going. So yeah, it was. I think it was a something to look forward to this time, rather than I actually desperately needed it. Whereas in the Crawley 24 hours, the first one, I desperately needed it. To give me that lift. So yeah, I think this time it was more I'm going to enjoy it and look forward to it. So yeah, it went well.
Do you have to turn around in the World Champs, or is that
No,
continuous?
because they sent us different ways. We didn't turn round this time, which was great, and there were no 180-degree turns either in the course, which was very, very good. Because I mean, there were a few tight bends, but nothing like 180 degrees.
Yeah, no, the park runs with those in drive me crazy.
Great.
So I'm not going to get a PB today if I have to keep having to do this every lap. I'm never gonna get under 20 minutes. So you said they sent you other ways as well. Was that so? It wasn't one continuous loop the entire
Um,
time, or
we went round the track the right way, so anti-clockwise, and then we get out of the stadium and turned right and followed the road round. So technically, then you were running clockwise round the stadium, and then you entered in a similar place and you
right?
ran anti-clockwise around the track again. So yeah, it didn't feel like you were turning, but you did. You effectively were turning every lap.
I see. That's really clever, isn't it? Someone's thought about that.
Yes, although you should possibly look at the Strava map for the course, because apparently it looks like a piece of male anatomy. So
Oh.
somebody didn't quite think about that one.
A small price to pay.
Yes.
Goes off to Google.
Maybe
Yes.
maybe not so small. Uh, so you had Kelsey and Sophie who managed the podium with you. I think Kelsey's second as well, second ever 24-hour as well.
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
But obviously Sophie's a bit of a veteran of the sport. Did she give you any words of wisdom in the build up to it?
No, we didn't really chat about it. She definitely had her own plan. And then I was hearing more about her book and her performances like at UTMB and stuff like that. So yeah, she's great. It was and Kelsey's no stranger, although she's only ever done 224 hours. She's done like the Grand Union Canal
Right.
races. So I actually felt a bit of an imposter because I kind of was the only one who'd done anything, only one sort of 24-hour race. Everybody else has done a lot more, even if they'd only done one official 24 hours. They'd all done a lot more than me. So yeah, I felt a bit of an imposter really, but it was yeah, they were a great bunch.
Oh, you've done the 100Ks though. I mean, that counts for a lot, for sure.
Yeah, it was the 100K team was great. The 24-hour team, were very different. It's fascinating everybody's mindset as well, and the 50K, because the 50K runners are more like marathon runners, so they were completely different. The 100K runners were so laid back, and then the 24-hour runners, I would say, we're just like family. We were really supportive of everybody, and yeah, it was, and having such a good crew made all the difference.
Who's your running buddy? Your dog.
Oh, this is Keita.
Hello, Keita.
You going to show your picture, Keita?
Oh,
She's
Cutie pie.
She says, I'm too tired. She's a cockapoo cross with a terrier, which is not a good combination. But yeah, and she is the laziest dog on the planet and really doesn't like running more than the odd bit of a sprint. But she puts up with it occasionally when I have to take her.
Oh. They're good running buddies.
Yes, I miss my Lurcher was brilliant. He was my running buddy. He started me off really on my marathon journey. He only had one pace, fast. And if we saw a rabbit or a pheasant ahead, we'd have to do a 400-meter sprint to where it was. He had his designated wee spots, so he would accelerate into a corner, come to a dead stop, pee, and then go on at exactly the same pace. I'm like, no, we're running at 6:40, Chico. You really need to let me get back up to speed again. But no, he was off. So yeah, he was a fantastic running buddy, and yeah, we lost him in May, and yeah, he stopped running once we got the little one here because he decided she was more fun to play with. But he definitely got me out and did the mileage with me, and he didn't really understand about rest days and rest days after a marathon, when you can't actually walk, and he insisted on we still went for our 2-mile morning jog. And yeah, my first mile was an embarrassing 12-minute miles while I tried to get my legs to work again.
How
When
was
was
your
that?
Oh, sorry, go
No,
on.
no, go on. No, you go, you go.
Well, I was just wondering how you found your first 50K trail race.
That was fun. Yeah, again, there was no pressure. Um, the only reason I did it was because I could recce the course multiple times because I tend to get lost. I still got lost and went wrong twice, despite the fact I'd recce'd it, but probably only by about 20 meters rather than
Oh,
miles, of
doesn't
course.
count.
So yeah, but again, it was just such fun. Because I had the navigation, the watch, it doesn't show you your pace, so unless you switch on to a different screen. So I was like, actually, there's no point. I just want to enjoy this. My rule was that if I can walk up the hill faster than I can run, I might as well walk. So I did, but there was only one hill that I walked, and yeah, it was just fun. So I've got to be brave enough, I think, to do another trail, probably 100 miles. So do probably the South Downs 100 at some point, or the Thames Path would be, another one. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. I did. You probably won it anyway, didn't you? I mean, your average pace must be just so much higher than your average trail runner.
Yeah, I did win the 50K one.
You
Yeah,
did.
yes.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Oh, well done.
Have you? I was thinking about Thames Path 100, and I was just sort of looking at your history. There's not actually too. There's so many races available to you now. Have you looked at some of the flat like Grand Union Canal as well? Would be a great one for you to do.
Yeah, again, it's just I think the navigation is the ones is the thing that really, really worries me. And not being able to recce a lot of those runs, I think, it is a big thing. So I think I'm going to have to build my confidence. I must admit, the Centurion races seem to be really, really well signposted. Because I recce'd the last 30 miles of the South Downs Way 100, and I was a bit worried at the start of this 30 miles because I couldn't see very many signs at all. And then I realized that's because they would started taking them all down because obviously I was behind everybody else. So when I actually caught up the tail enders and went ahead of them, because obviously I was only doing 30 miles and they'd done 100, I suddenly realized that actually it was really well signposted. So I think the South Downs Way or the Thames Path, there's a reasonable chance that it's got the signposting, and therefore I should be okay. Either that, or I'm just going to have to find somebody to run with who's prepared to give me a boost on the way around.
Yeah, exactly. Because you could have a pacer from halfway,
You
can't
can
you?
have a
So.
pacer from halfway, and
I was
and
going to
and
say, you're not going to find many people that keep up with you,
well,
though.
Dan Lawson, bless him, has volunteered, and so yeah, it's certainly the South Downs Way is. I mean, ironically, the second half is the one, or the last 30 miles is the bit I know because that's home territory. But yeah, I'll not be complaining if I have a pacer, more to um open gates and making sure that if I do fall over tree roots, that I'm not lying in a ditch and with a dislocated shoulder again. So yes, having a pacer would be very nice.
I literally did just that job, the 50 miles of South Downs Way 100 this year,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, there was many a gates were open. That's for sure.
Yes.
So it is a vital job, I think, for the pacer to get all those gates open in time so you can just run through.
Yeah, well, I ran part of the other way, so I sort of saw the leaders on the Saturday night. So I was trying to open gates for them You know, if I could see someone coming, I'd stop because I was only doing training runs, stop, wait, open the gate for them so they could go through it, which was, and then, yeah, on the morning, I was overtaking them. But yeah, again, tried to stop if they needed gate opening.
It's such a joy when someone opens a gate for you and you're running at a decent speed.
Yes.
It's so grateful, aren't you, when you run through like.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of the like spectators or people just walking on the South Downs are really good. They see me flying down and they just open the gate and wait for me, which is really nice of them. And didn't expect it, but yeah, really nice of them.
Is that your sort of local training ground as well then?
Yeah, I'm about 2 miles from the South Downs Way at Falmer. So I live in Rottingdean. So yeah, it's 2 miles uphill and then I'm on the downs basically, which so it's really nice to get up there, especially in summer when Brighton's so busy. To get out on the downs is beautiful.
Do you value hills in your training?
Yeah, I mean, obviously because I was doing the 50k, I definitely wanted to do the course, not just because of wrecking the course, but because to practice the hills. Whereas if I do my normal sort of run to Brighton, the only hill I've got is down Rottingdean and back up again, and then it's dead flat all the way into Brighton on the Undercliffs path. So it's absolutely fine for like 24-hour training or flat 100k training, but not for if I want to do hills. Definitely the downs help, and just generally I think it gets me be a stronger runner, both up and downhill.
Yeah, absolutely. It does make a difference, doesn't it? And they say it's good to do sort of race specific stuff 6-ish weeks out from the race. I think I keep hearing that at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's why I sort of switched back onto the roads about August time, just end of August, just to get me ready for the 24 hours. But before that, I was quite happy up on the downs, and enjoying the hills.
So just quickly before we finish, just switching back to the race, what moment did you realize that you were going to run past the world record? And also, how sort of aggravating was it that you couldn't stop and enjoy it because there were two people behind you chasing you to the end?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd worked out with about 3 hours to go that it was going to be okay. I think I had 30k to go at that point, and it was like, that's okay. All you have to do is run 10k an hour. That's well slower than you're already doing. Therefore, yes, you can't slow down, but you should get it. And so it was just keeping in that mindset. But I kept sort of switching between kilometers, miles, and then laps. Because of course, kilometer 1,000 meters, mile 1,600, and the lap was 1,500. So it was like, have I got 30 kilometers to go, or is it 30 miles? And then I was trying to work it out in laps as well, because I had in my head I'd had so many laps, 800 and whatever it was laps. I'm like, no, hang on a minute, was that miles or kilometers or what? So at that point I was just like, oh, for goodness sake, go back to kilometers, work on the kilometers. But yeah, I'd have loved to have been able to celebrate that lap properly when they did. But two problems. One, I knew I had to keep going. And then the other problem was they gave me the flag, but because my shoulder was dislocated, I couldn't really move my arm properly. So I couldn't get the flag round my shoulder. So I was just like, I'm just going to have to carry it because I can't actually move my arm to do this. So I probably look at a bit of a twat running around just carrying this flag in my hand. But it was like, I can't put it on my shoulders. So therefore, I'm just going to have to. And then I ditched it again after the lap because it was like, no, I just need to run now. And I knew it was my race to lose at that point, and I couldn't give it up now. I'd put too much effort into this. I was had to leave it all on the track.
Yeah,
I mean, bother you? Sorry.
It wasn't painful at all. The two problems I had with it, which I hadn't anticipated, was that I didn't have full extension. So when I was trying to take my gels or bottles, I couldn't extend my arm far enough to take them. So that was a problem. And it was the same with getting like these little sponges they had. I couldn't get them with my left hand. It was fine because they actually had 2 boxes of sponges around the course, and one was on the left and one was on the right. So I just made sure I always got it from the right box. And then the other problem was I'd lost fine motor control. So when I came to pick the gel up from somebody, my hand wouldn't close properly on it, and I just ended up dropping it. So after a couple of laps, it was like, you're going to have to stop and actually physically get it. And by the end, it didn't matter that I was doing that, but it definitely got worse as I got more tired. If you see what I mean, I just couldn't close the hand properly on whatever it was, gel or bottle, which I hadn't anticipated, because I knew I'd lost this fine motor control, but it wasn't something I thought of as being a problem until I couldn't do it anymore.
That is mind-blowing, isn't it? Like, so many people would use those as excuses and not come out with the performance. Some might not have even started the race. I mean, I know it's a great honour to run for your country, and perhaps the inspiration there would mean you'd always start. But to have like that, those kind of issues would affect a lot of people. But you've clearly got the drive and the determination to push through no matter what. And
it was very weird with because at first I couldn't even move the arm at all. So trying to run with an arm you can't move is so weird. You might not think it, but my left leg kept missing steps because it just wouldn't coordinate with the rest of my body because my left arm wasn't moving. And it was just, it took at least probably 2-3 weeks before I stopped that feeling of missing steps. And I was back on the track and trying to do sort of more speed work, and I was like, I'm going to fall over, I'm so unstable. It was so weird feeling, and even now it moves back and forwards, but I can't have it out at the angle that the other one was at. So I ended up with chafing on the arm because it was tucked in so much compared to the right arm. It's all these little things you don't really think about, but it's
Wow, how much further can you run with a non-broken shoulder?
Well, that's an interesting question, isn't it?
Do you think 300 kilometers can be done?
I have no idea. I did swear I would retire after this one if I broke the world record, but I'm a bit too competitive, so I'm not sure whether that will happen. But
good to know.
but you're not old enough, I'm afraid, to retire from 24-hour running, unfortunately.
No, you've just started.
Yeah. Dan Lawson and other veterans of the sport, they're going to force you out there a lot longer, aren't they? Oh wow. Well, have you got any other questions, Kate?
No. I think I've got I've written down I've done everything I wrote down. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. That was amazing.
Thank you very much for your time. It was really enjoyed chatting with you. It's really good, and good luck for your next race.
Oh, thank you, and you.
Thank you.